think about what he said and how many he sent to go and get that donkey. I'm not going to say that word today. We're going to say that donkey. Get that donkey. He said, no, I'm not going to use that word. It's not plastic. So he sent two to bring in that donkey. Deacon, don't say that word there. He said he said it in the word, so Deacon said it. They said it. So what we know is that he did that. Now here he comes, riding on that donkey. Coming into town. But we see today, as we look again and continue in Matthew, we see this is our second series of Matthew. And next week we conclude Matthew. That as I look and think about what Matthew was saying and what he's telling us about what out of those four books, when you read them, they all give you something similar, then some of them give you something just a little different about what happened. But they all center around the same thing. Now, as we know today, the day is Palm Sunday. Now, what does Palm Sunday tell us? What is it leading up to? The crucifixion. So this is what Christians believe. Now, I said Christian folks believe that this is coming up to next Sunday. Now, we know, we said this is coming to the 14th day, which is coming on down to the 7th day. Now, I told you in the beginning, 14 means start over, our new beginning. So here we are getting so close to that new beginning. We're 7 days away to that Palm Sunday. Now, when I begin to look and think about and read what goes on, what he said today, and look at how we coming up to that Sunday, the first thing come here, as the writer said, the unforgettable leader. And you begin how he associates that with the unforgettable leader. And let's think about some leaders that's in your life that you don't forget. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. But it said the unforgettable leader. Now, when you think about an unforgettable leader in your life, somebody come to your mind. Come to your mind. Martin Luther King. Obama, what you read. So those are some unforgettable leaders. Well, Jesus, who coming to, I like it. But you know what comes to my mind? The first thing that comes to my mind is unforgettable leader would be my parents. That's the first thing I think about. If you got a parent, we all have parents that raise and not what they supposed to do, you don't forget that person. That should be your leader. Now, if I look into that and think about that, then my parents, I looked at my brother. I looked at him as my leader because I saw the life that he lived. So we don't have to go to people like that. Just think about somebody in your life. And then as I went through high school, my band director, that was my great leader. The reason I found out this man was my great leader because he did something that a lot of teachers didn't do. Now you probably don't know what he did. Made me feel good. When I was a young boy in high school, he called what my classmate called me, he called me D. You know what that made me feel good. Why? Because he got a little personal with me, and he called me what they call me, D. You know, teachers didn't call you that, but when you get a personal relationship with a child or student, that makes that student feel good. So I had a good relationship with him, and I always said that was my leader. And then when I got to college, I found a good leader there, a man that I thought was a good leader. How he taught stats. You know anything about stats? That's a master. Stats. The way he taught that, it made me feel good. Because when he was teaching to himself. He would say, Nicholas, how you do this here? Put this over here. It was fun. There's a Nicholas, put this over here. I thought that was real fun. And I'll never forget some stuff like that. You know, there's some people in your life that you don't forget. It's maybe the way they do. And that makes you just always think about him. You say, remember things. This is one of the things to remember. And we look today, we see some unforgettable leaders there. Now, when you think about all the leaders that I had, the leaders that you had, but here's one that we as Christians, we would never forget unless something happened to your mind. Other than that, you would never forget about this leader. Now, what's so good about this leader that you won't forget? He died for our sin. He died for our sin. Before he died, what was taking place for the scene? Sacrifice. And what was being sacrificed? Animal. You know, I told you I don't want to be an animal back there because you had to bring something. A pure animal that would be sacrificed. That's what they did back there. But then, after God saw all this, but just wasn't going to work. And what did he do? He sent his son. So here we are coming up to that time. We are 7 days away from, they said, our celebration. And as we look at this celebration, what they did back there, what we're getting ready to do now, nothing but a celebration. It says, celebrate. Who are we going to celebrate? We're going to celebrate Christ because he died for our sin. Now, not only did he die, but next week we're going to see he did more than that. He did what? He rose. Now, tell me that what the good God. He done nothing wrong, but he come here for our wrongness. So that's an unforgettable leader. Now, as we get into this lesson today, we see that we have 3 topics. I kind of like it. And all 3 topics has the same word. What's that word they have in all 3 topics? The Passover. So look at that. Rose been studying. Some people have been studying. I like when people study. I kind of talk back to me. We're talking about the Passover. So as we begin to get in this thing talking about the Passover, we think about what had happened. Now here it comes. He had done all these good things. And you have some people just didn't get what he done. Do that kind of sound like us? You can do good. Dickens said they still don't care. You can do good for people all your life again, and they still gonna look for one thing. They're gonna find one thing that they don't like. He said, but whatever you do, he said there's a but behind that. Look at Jesus. All the things he done, and then here comes the plot. This man, we got to do something with him. Why we got to do something with him? Because of the things that he was doing. The Pharisees and Sadducees, the priests, they knew the word. But what were they doing to the word? Turning the word around. They didn't live it. So what did they call them? Hypocrites. He said, and this man here, he come and offer them something different. We got to do something about this man here. He is disrupting what's going on here. We are the victims. You know, he said they walk around all on their forehead. They had on their mailbox. Want everybody to know that they knew the word. And here comes Jesus teaching the real word. And they didn't want to accept that. They knew it, they read it, they studied, but then they turn around for their own benefit. So the plot began. Now, as the plot began, he read this morning that Jesus had his 12 disciples with him. Isn't that funny? Somebody can be with you all the time. And then that same somebody can turn on you just like that. Now, what was the turning point that Judas turned on him? He betrayed him. And not only betrayed him, what did he betray him for? 30 pieces of silver. So what was silver? Money. What would people turn on you for? Money. Is it any different? The same thing. He done all this him. This man stayed with him 3 years, knowing, and he turned on him. So here we are now. We began to get in this, and this plot began to thicken. As he read this morning, something got into old Judas. And what he said got into old Judas made him do that. He said Satan got into him. Well, again, what did that tell me? Satan gonna get into you. If you don't believe what the joke said. What did he say? This man is run what? 2 and what? So what we run into? Sleeping with him. And then that's when Satan get into him. It's all about putting in his head. What did he put in his head? Money. Because you know Judas, what did he carry? He was a treasure. He carried the money. And I read about sometimes it's Judas was dipped in the treasure because he carried the money. So here we go right now. For money, people do you wrong. The first thing we got, when we look at this is preparing of the for the Passover. 7 days away from the Passover. Really? What does it tell us?
Now the first
week, Jesus was getting ready to come into town. So big about this time here. It's getting ready for our celebration. Did you ever why do they want to celebrate this? Talk to me. I know you know. Came out of Egypt with the instruction. Well, when you read it, it says, when Moses told them to put the blood over the door, and when you have yeast bread, it takes days for that bread to rise. So here you are now, you don't have days. You only have a little time. So what he told them, get this bread, cook this bread that unleavened, because they don't have time to rise. You can't put nothing in it. So here we are, you get ready. Because what's coming at 12 o'clock? What's going to come? Death angel. But before that, what he tell them? Take some blood and put what? Around the door. So what does that let me know that? That death angel will do what? Pass. So you don't have time to prepare to get this bread. That's why they celebrate the unleavened bread. It wasn't time, he said, putting yeast. No time for yeast. You get ready because the song said, get ready because here I come. Who is coming? Death is coming. Because you're getting ready to leave that, so you don't have time to prepare that bread. That was the unleavened bread. Passover. Now you know what the Passover was. Passover we just said. The Passover that when you have blood on your door, what is death going to do? Death is going to pass over. And that's why they call it death. Because they said, if you go out that door, what is that would happen? You're going to die. So you stay in and get ready to go. That's the supper of the unleavened bread. This is the first day. Now you notice that this is day 13, coming up to 13 here when they're getting ready for this here. Now we're going to get to how those days differ from our days. And read what did that nation tell us about that?
And he said, go into the city to such a man and say unto him, the master said, my time is at hand. I will keep the Passover at thy house with my disciples.
Look what it said now. First you go. Then it said, once you get there, we want to know where we're going. Because if you read this here and think about it, those 12, 11 of them, they was not from Jerusalem. So now they saying, where do we go? We want to know where we're going. And once we get there, and what he told them, he said, when you get there, what's going to happen? You're going to meet a man with a job. And some say with a picture of wow. Now, if Christ had died and knew all this, what did that tell you? He knew about the donkey. He knew about the self. So what did that tell you? Even he told him to go and get the donkey. That what the man was going to do. What did the man do? He knew now what the man going to tell him about to prepare the room. When you get to this certain place, you're going to be the man. What? How did he know this? Because he's not present. He is what? Everywhere all at the same time. He knew that was going to happen. So when you get there, you're going to see this man with his job. Now, not only that, when you get there, you see the man with his job. What did it tell him? Go along with this man. Read it. And with that, what's the next thing it says?
And the disciples did as Jesus had appointed them, and they made ready the Passover.
Look what they did. They did exactly what he said. In the sun. In this day time way. Now, you know, before time, he would tell them to do something, they kind of question God. Last week, when they told them to do something, they didn't question God. Here they are this week, he told them to do, and they didn't question God. He told them what to do with Jesus. Go there, meet this man, and you do what this man tells you to do. Now, when you meet this man, and this man tell you what to do, you go to this house. This man is going to tell the man at the house, I got somebody with me. I need you to take me to this room. Now, you remember that song say the upper room? But this is when the upper room come in. I want you to carry to this upper room. Now, the upper room is the place where they're going to prepare because they know Jesus is coming to them. He is coming with them. So this is that song we said, in the upper room. This man had this huge room and he was getting ready to prepare. Who did he send? Last week, he sent 2. This week, who did he send? 2. Now, you notice Matthew doesn't tell us about that. But when you read John, it tells us who were the 2? Peter and John. He said the 2. He gave a name when you read that there. That's what I told you. In some of those books, they said the same, and some of them go just a little further to tell you out. So he sent Peter and John to go to that room and prepare the 13th day because it's the time is near. Christ knew his time is near. Now, what gets on me? I probably get on you too. Now, when you read about that, And Christ get the room, and then look what he do. He knows this man gonna betray him. What you think about that? How would you feel knowing that this man that sleep with you, ate with you, and still gonna betray you? Now, how do you just think about that? You with your, what is that, age coon? You know, that's the closest way you get. You've been with me 3 years. My age coon, my running dog. All that this stuff with you, and what did he do? He turned against you. Now, how would you feel? Talk to somebody. I know you're going to talk to her. She said she would choke. And if you had the power that he had, what would you do? If I had that power, I know this man going to turn me up. I know this man don't like me. But what? She said she would choke. What would I do?
I'll leave him alone.
He'd leave him alone.
I'll leave him alone. You go your way, I go my way.
Stay away from him. Stay away from him.
I think that Jesus knew from the day that Judas got with him, he knew then that he was going to kill him.
He knew that.
He already knew that.
He already knew that Judas wasn't no good. But what did he do? He still got it. And all of that, he still loved him. Look at old Judas. How many Judas do we have now? People that smile in your face. I like your song. And what do they do? Stab you in your back. What they call that? Backstabber. How many backstabbers do you have in your life? They sit with you. They smile with you. They eat with you. They ride with you. They dine with you. They do all that things to you. And what are they doing to you? Backstabbing. Just give me the time. If you give me the time, I'm going to show you who I really am. What happened to him? Christ already knows him. And he still stayed with him. He already knew what he going to do. And he still washed his feet. You know what he did? That's Rose here. He still washed his feet. Wait a minute. Here I am going to wash this man's feet. Now think about my feet. It's already nasty. It's already dusty. And what I'm going to do? He's still washing. So what are you supposed to do for your folks? Continue to love. Continue to what? Pray for him. Because that's what you're supposed to do. Christ knew this man. He knew he going to turn him up. He knew he going to do it for 30 pieces of silver. But he still loved. Now, if we are like Christ, what do that tell us we got to do? Do the same. You got to continue love. Who should you love? Everybody. Even your enemy. Love them.
You're right, I often say that and forgiveness. But you, in our human form, we're not Christ. That's why you got so many killers in the black community. Revenge. I listen to that music all the time by Johnny T.
That's right.
So the mother was meant for me to come to church. Hear this.
That's it.
Yeah.
We are not Christ.
No.
We're in the flesh.
Right.
But we're supposed to get into the spirit. When you get into the spirit, what's coming to the spirit? Christ. And what does Christ produce? Love. So that's what it is. A lot of folks, we know that everybody's in the flesh, but a lot of them stays in the flesh. They never come to the spirit realm. When you begin to come in the spirit realm, you're going to be able to forgive. Can I forgive? Somebody has just cursed me out. Can I forgive that person? Yes. Why can I forgive? Because Christ forgave. Can I forgive? You know, people talk about somebody kill your son. Can I forgive that person? Yes. It's hard. But what you can do, you have to forgive them. Because what? Christ forgave. If we want to be like Christ, even the hardest thing in our life, we still got to do what? Forgive. What are we? We are the light. We are Christians. Now, if you take those people that don't believe in Christ, what they said, an eye for an eye. Did you see all the about to Chuck Norris, an eye for an eye? That's what some of us live for, an eye for an eye. But once we come out of that eye for an eye and realize that Christ has our back, we don't mind what somebody do to us. It's not about us. It's all about who? Christ. What are we trying to say? We are trying to say that whatever somebody do to you, no matter how hard it is, no matter how tough it is, think like Christ thought. You are not Christ, but you can love like Christ. What did he do? He gave who? His only begotten son. How many of us would do that? He gave his son not just for one person. He gave his son for what? Everybody. He didn't give his son for the black. He didn't give his son for the white. He didn't give it for the red, but he gave it for who? Everybody. When you begin to think like that, you're going to come out of that fleshly mind. You're going to always be in the flesh until you leave him. But you need to get into that spirit realm, like Christ did. And then when you look at what happened right there, after the disciples there, when they appointed the place to go there, it says Jesus appointed them there, and the Passover was getting ready. We're getting close to this Passover. And Rita, what's the next one tell us?
We're done.
The 19th, yeah. All right. And then the question then, the question says, now think about this question. What are we doing, or should we be doing, to prepare people to receive Christ? What are you doing to prepare people to receive Christ? Tell them about Christ. What are you doing to prepare people for Christ? Live the life that people see who? They see Christ in you. That's what you're doing. You prepare. How do you prepare people? Live it. I can get up here and talk all day. The preacher can preach all day. But if I'm saying one thing and living another, who's going to believe me? Nobody. You have to have what? Trust. That's right. You got to trust. In order for me to gain trust in somebody, what do you need to do? Tell them the truth. In order for you to gain, somebody believe in you, what you got to do? Tell them the truth. If you are a liar, who's going to believe you? Nobody. Even the time that you could be telling the truth. What they going to say? That old lying so-and-so ain't telling you the truth. Won't they say it? Don't it make sense? Why would they say that? Because you've been lying all the time. So if you want to gain somebody for Christ, tell them the truth. What Christ said. That's it. Tell them that Christ said, no matter what you did, what happened? He still loves you. Yeah. So no matter what you're doing, I still love you. Tell the person the truth. Now don't only tell it, but live it. Live this life that you speak about. You know what I said? I'm going to live the life that I sing about in my song. That's it. So you got to live this life that you talk about. That's right. Speaking is easy, but living it can be something different. What do we talk about? Miss Cycle?
I tell you, about me, you know, don't tell me the truth, I don't want to hear it.
How many of us
don't
want to hear it? Here's one for us. I'm teaching in school, and I told this boy, if you get up again, I'm on penalty. What did that child do?
Tell me the truth.
Why? Because what I told him, if you do it again. How many times you done? He already done it 10 times. And I'm still saying the same thing. If you get up again.
All right.
So what am I losing? First thing, that child don't believe nothing you say. You done told me that over and over, and you doing it. I'm doing the same thing over. Because what? You doing the same thing over and over. I see a hand.
You know what? A liar. You know, I can look at them. This is how you tell me when they're trying to tell me a lie. You tell me one lie, you're going to tell me another lie. Then you're going to become a habituous liar. What that means, you're going to lie if I have it. I ain't having it right now. One is in Germany, one is in Israel. And when they lie, I can tell it. They can stay away from me because I got the gospel. I'm not lying.
And you know what I found out about that? A liar can't tell you the same thing twice. Have you noticed that? Because they forget what they told the first time. But when you want to lead somebody to Christ, that's the same thing. You need to live the life. When do you live the life? All the time. Even when time gets tough, what you do? Live the life because you don't know who's looking in.
That's right.
That person looking in is that person that you can say. You can say that person. But if you lying all the time, who want to hear you? The first thing said that come old lying John, old lying James. Let him take his lying self on back to where he wants. Because I know he ain't gonna never lie. And there could be one time in your life that you're not lying.
Yeah.
You could be telling the truth.
Tell them to go back where they come.
Go back where you come from.
believe a liar because he a liar.
A liar believe a liar. That's something. So we both lying together. Oh, that's good, Dick. Now here we go. I like that. We're getting ready for the one of the Passover. Now you're prepared. Now we're getting ready for the one. What we got, Rita?
Now when the even was come, he sat down with the 12.
Go ahead and read 21.
Okay. And as they did eat, he said, verily I say unto you, that one of you shall betray me.
Now here's a good part. When the evening comes, now what they tell you? They had made their round, and you know their evening was not like our evening. Their evening came at 6. The Jews' time was not like ours. Ours come at what? 12 o'clock a new day? Theirs started at 6 a new day. Now here comes the evening time was coming, and then it said they sat down at 12. At this point here, all 12 of them sit down. Now what do we get ready to call this now? We call this what? No, we call this the Last Supper. Don't they call this the Last Supper? Because this is the last time that he gonna eat with them. So that was the Last Supper. But now it's not the Last Supper. What do we call that same thing? The Lord's Supper. This is the Lord's Supper now.
Yeah.
It was the Last Supper for them. But for us, it is a what? The Lord's Supper. The Lord. Because who are we still honoring?
Yeah.
The Lord. Every time we do this, what is it? This do in remember of who? Me. That means it doesn't stop. To them, it was the last. To us, it's the Lord. Same thing, just different name. Meaning the same thing. Now here come all 12 sitting around with him. They yelling, and here comes Jesus saying, somebody gonna betray me. Wait a minute. We're getting ready. We're eating, sitting down there, eating out the bread and everything. And he said, somebody gonna betray me. So what's gonna happen now? Oh, why would you say that? Somebody gonna betray me. So as she reads that next one, he's gonna say, huh? Somebody gonna, what the next one tell me?
And they were exceeding sorrowful, and began every one of them to say unto him, Lord, is it I?
Look at that. First we sit down, we having a good time eating, and then he put a curveball in there. What did he say? Somebody gonna betray me. So here we are looking around, looking at yourself inside.
Yeah.
Who's gonna betray him? But what? He already know.
Yeah.
He already knew who's gonna betray him.
Yeah.
But who didn't know? The rest of them didn't know. But who did know? Judas knows that. He already knew. He knew. The rest of them didn't know. But everybody else was passing around.
Yeah.
Passing around. What you talking about, Christ? Somebody gonna betray me. What are you talking about? Somebody gonna turn me over. We eating here, Christ. We having a good time here. Then you gonna throw that curveball in here? Now, you know, my food begins to kind of hesitate on me right now. My mind running, they mind running. Who is it? Which one? Which one of us gonna do that? And then, you know, right here, he doesn't tell us who did it. Never mentioned it. But in 23, he said it, but he don't give a name. Now, what the 23 said, Rita?
And he answered and said, He that dippeth his hand with me in the dish, the same shall betray me.
What were they all doing? Back in the day, when they got ready to eat, they all dipped. So did he tell them then? Matthew said he didn't tell them. But when you read the other book, it tells the name. What did he tell them? The one that dipped with me, and I give it to him. Who did he give it to? Judas. Matthew doesn't say it, but the others tell it. I told you, some of them say something, others give you more detail. Matthew just let us know that he didn't tell them. He said the one. But when you read Luke, they tell you it was Judas that he gave the bread to. The one sitting beside him, he gave it to him, and they dipped together. And then it said, you know, Judas asked him a question later on. Lord, is it I? Lord, is it I? When you already knew it was you.
Yeah.
Why did you know it was you? Because you had already made the scene. You already told him, give me what? 30 pieces of silver.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn you over. And, that's kind of funny. Then you're going to ask me, Lord, is it I? So what do you think he was trying to do to Jesus? See that Jesus knows. And Jesus already knew when he just said that. The one sitting here that dipped with me. But yet I'm going to question you, Lord, is it I? Well, that's a crazy thing. I already knew that. He knew that, but the other didn't knew that. So, but he gonna what? He gonna just cry. Lord, is it I? You know it was you. You the one told the people, I tell you what, I'm gonna find a way to get it. They had been plotting on him, so he had to find a way to get it. And what did he tell them, y'all? How did he say he gonna get it? The one that I kissed. So if I hold him right there, he already told him the one that I kissed, that's going to be that Jesus. That's the one you're going to get. Because this man here had did so much they said was wrong. So when I kissed this man, he's going to get it. But look what happened. He gave him 30 pieces of silver. And I kind of thought something out there. He gave him 30 pieces of silver. How old was Christ when he first started preaching? 30. Look at my number there. So he started at 30. He got betrayed at 30. 30 and 30. Isn't that funny how that works? Christ did that. I began to put that thing together. 30 pieces of silver. What happened? I heard somebody say something. 30 pieces of silver, 30 years. When you start preaching, you're 30 years old. But just 30 pieces of silver. Look what they did. He did. He betrayed him. And look what they did. And they had no reason to do it, but they still did it. What was their reason? Because he was doing something they didn't like. Why would people turn on you? Because you doing what's right. That's why they would turn on you. They turn on Christ. He done nobody wrong. But they turn on him because what he was doing. People do you the same way today. They are turning on you for no reason. Just because they can do it. All right, look what we have right there when they talk about that. They're reading, what does 24 tell us?
The Son of Man goeth as it is written of him, but woe unto the man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It had been good for that man if he had not been born.
Now that's one. What did he tell him? He told him, it would have been best if you had never been born. Why? Why is it best if you had never been born? Because of your action, what you've done, you should never be born. This is Christ speaking. Then, as I began to look at that thing about betrayal, when you read, what's the first thing he said? Christ, the son of David. Have you read that when they said Christ? When it first came out, they said Christ, the son of David. So as I looked at that, thought about Christ, the son of David, and David had somebody to betray him. Who did David have to betray him? Who betrayed David? Saul betrayed him. But this was somebody closer to David that betrayed him. Miss Tracy got Absalom. Who was Absalom? He was David's most handsome son. Remember? Not only was that, but Absalom had that long hair. And what he did, he couldn't wait for his father to die. So he betrayed him. And what I like about that, his death was just the same death as Judas. How does Judas die? He hung himself. How did Absalom die? He was riding on his horse. His horse came to a tree. His hair got hung up in a tree. And what happened? He hung himself. Look how he died. When you do Christ wrong, you don't have to get in. What I'm telling us, we need to do what Christ says is right. Because wrong with Christ is a bad thing. Look at these two right now. He did David wrong, died by death hung. He did Christ wrong, died by hung. When you do Christ wrong, don't you think you're not coming? You may think that you get away, but what's going to happen? It's coming. I haven't read nowhere yet that you've done Christ wrong and he didn't get you. It may not come when you think it's coming, but it's coming. And right here, it happened. Look what happened right there. Same thing will happen to him when you look at it. We're talking about betrayal. He betrayed Christ for 30 pieces of silver. And then he told him that for your betrayal, you're going to wish you had never been born. Now that's some hard stuff right there. I'm telling you, Christ telling him. Now here's the other looking around. I bet they saying, not me, not me. But one said, Miss Tracy, we plot begins early. But who was the one that betrayed him from the plot? Oh, Judas. Judas betrayed him because he told him what? How you gonna do it? I'm gonna do it with a kiss. That lets you know who it was. So here we come right there, out of that. But what? After the end part, what Judas did, he got what he deserved. But what happened? Christ knew that. How did he know? When he came into the world, he already knew what was going to happen. This was nothing unexpected for Christ. He already knew, but it was unexpected to his disciples. I've been with you all this time, and there's one of us going to do that to you. What did old Peter say? You know it wasn't can be me. Peter, who's always the one that spoke out all the time. Peter was that outspoken one. So, I know it's not me. But later on, he's going to tell him, Peter, look what you're going to do to me. But not right now. So when we look at that thing right there, and think about what happened, that Christ said, you wish you had never been born, and there's a question that followed that. Anybody else got something to say? I thought that was kind of good. And the question says, what do you think? What warning and woes do we have for not honoring Christ? What warning do you have for not honoring Christ? What are some of your woes that you have? When you say warning, what is our warning for not honoring Christ? What's some of the warning? What's been taking place lately? I believe we have some tornadoes, some strong winds, COVID-19. Why do you think this is happening? Because what are we doing? We are falling away from who? Christ. So what is he doing? He gave you your warning already.
Yeah.
He's giving you one. And I want to find out what's happening. And my woes, what do I need to do? Read the word.
Yeah.
It's right there in the word. Everything is happening here is nothing. It's right there where in the word. The warning signs are already there. The woes are already there, which is affliction. They are already there. All we got to do is just what? Read the word.
Read the word.
Nothing new. And I began to think about what happened in Ukraine. Do you think that's an accident? That's what's going on? What is Christ doing? He's still warning us.
Oh, yeah.
He's still warning us. And letting you know that what? I'm on my way back.
That's what he said.
They knew he was coming in because he was coming in on a donkey. He was coming. We knew he was coming now because we got all the warning signs. What he doing? He letting us know, as they said, time is not where it is. Time is coming near. And we are living in those times.
But you know what it is, brother?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess all of us is going through this. And I often tell a lot of people, God is not a convenient God. When stimulus checks and this and that, and food stamps and all these blessings, then we turn back around to start booking, just doing any and everything. Then COVID hit again. Then we want to know Jesus. But see, if you know Jesus, like, okay, get sunshine out there right now. He's just as dangerous out there now as he is with a world.
Say word.
What you do is, he says, pray without cease. And once you pray, like I was telling the guy who had skin touched in text, and I said, I'm praying for you. He said, oh, that's going to help sometime. I said, guess what? Prayer works. You work right.
Did you hear the word? Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Go ahead.
That's because you ain't been taught about that. See? But as I often tell a lady, stop me, she said, why you go down with Clarksdale? You go to church. You got church in there, you need to come on out the street. Because I'm getting something out of Sunday school. I mean, I'm grown. I want to go somewhere where I'm not nobody counting me, not nobody looking at me for what I got on, or how I'm speaking. But I can give them pure word. We need the word there. That's the word.
That sounds good. She said she getting something out of Sunday school. And who teaches Sunday school? It's all about, I like it. I like it fun. It's all about teaching the word. I'm not going to teach something that's not in the word. God hold me responsible for what I'm doing.
Responsible.
A preacher get up here and teach something that's not there. He holding that preacher responsible for what he's doing.
That's
So
right.
you need to teach the word.
Yes,
You need to make the word plain. So can I say it? Can I say it? Can get any plainer than that. You need to break it down so everybody can understand. You know, I have went down the preachers using all of the big words. Every word they said was a big word. And you know the part about it? They didn't know what the big word means. What they did was make themselves look good among all the doctors, the lawyers, the judges, all the good folks. But what about the plain people that don't know what you're talking about?
That's right.
What I like about it, can I say, our pastor, when he said, he breaks the word down so you can understand. Now that's what it's all about. I can get up and teach the people that's not even in here over your head. I can teach to the school teachers, to anybody else. But then I got to be able to teach to somebody that needs the word broken down.
That's right. That's right.
And that's what it's all about. Teaching God's word. I kind of like that. So I like it so well. I'm going to go to the next topic. We ready? The next topic. Anybody that got something to say? That kind of feel good. It's not about me. I always say it's not about me. Who is it about? It's about Christ. And what are we all here together? We learn how. We learn together. What you say and I say, as long as we say what Christ wants us to say, there's nothing wrong with that. Now we got the warning. Now we're going to do the last one. What does the last one tell us to do? It says, I like it. Here we are. Read it. Give it to us. The blessing of the Passover.
Then Judas, which betrayed him, answered and said, Master, is it I? He said unto him, Thou hast said.
The first thing he said, the blessing. So what did that tell me? The first thing you need to do, that we always teach our children, before you eat, what are you supposed to do? Bless your food.
Yeah, no.
Say your blessing.
I know that right.
I've seen so many people that sit down and never say a word to God. Now, if they say it, it must be said in their mind, because they don't say it when you can see it. He says, say your blessing. I have to give this to my mother. She made our children sit down around the table. They will not put a mouth of food in their mouth until they say this. Are they great? Right now, all our children grown. Do you know what they do? They still do. They will not eat unless they say they grace to God. Because what did Christ do? He said the blessing right here. When she just said, before they ate, he said the blessing. And then once he said that, she told us, look at those Judas. He right there with him at this moment. All right, read them. Read 26 and 27.
And as they were eating, Jesus took bread and blessed it and broke it and gave it to the disciples and said, Take, eat, this is my body. And he took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them, saying, Drink ye all of it.
Where's that Christ? This is what? This is my body. What are you talking about? We sitting around together, you gonna tell me this bread is your body? What are you telling me? This is the only bread you're gonna eat. This is my body, my bread. And then, not only my bread, but now you're finna drink my blood.
Yeah.
What is my blood? The wine. This is my, so now they're trying to associate, wait a minute, Christ. You said we finna eat your bread, your body. Now we finna drink your blood, wine. Yes. That's what's gonna happen. He made it plain. You know, I like how Christ made things plain to people. That's what I was talking about. He didn't go out and speak all, when he spoke those parables, why did he speak the parables? So everybody can understand. And that you are familiar with something. You know, when you're familiar with something, you have it. So that's why he did this thing. This is familiarity that he had with those things like that. And it said that. And then when he did that, and he gave a cup around to him, and then read it, what does 28 tell us?
For this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remission of sins.
What is the blood of the New Testament? The blood of the New Testament is when he died, and then he forgave your sin by rising up. That was the blood of the New Testament. He said, the remission of your sin. That means I forgive your sin. What did we say? I know I did wrong. I know. But what did Christ say? I died for it. So I'm going to take on that penalty.
Yeah.
I know I did wrong. So that's what he's saying. You know that you did wrong. But Christ said, I'm going to die for your wrongs. Because no other man could do it. So I'm gonna do it for you.
Yes, Lord.
You don't have to go out there and kill another sheep. You don't have to kill another ram. I am the ram.
Yes.
I am the sheep. So what is? I'm gonna die for that. So all you got to do is just believe.
Believe, that's it.
Believe and have faith in who? Faith in me. Because I came, God sent me down to accomplish this task that no other man can do. So I'm gonna do it for you. And reader, what did that next one tell us? Go ahead with the next two.
Okay. But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom. And when they had sung a hymn, they went out into the Mount of Olives.
Now after this hymn, he told them, this day, what they call it the last supper, I would not do it again. The next time I do this with you, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna do it when we all together with my Father. We're gonna sit and we're gonna drink together. But this is the last time. And that's why they say this is the what? The last supper for them. But for us, it's the what? The Lord's Supper. Because what it said? This do we in remembrance of what? Why you gonna remember him? Tell me why we remember him. Because he died for us. Because he died for us. So I want you to remember me every time you look at that. Right? What it said? This do in remembrance of what? Me. So I want you to always remember me. Because the next time we dine together, it's going to be in my Father's house. That's when we're going to sing and drink together. But right now, I'm not going to do it again. And with that, I think I got a little bit to say. Rita, are you ready back there for me?
Mm-hmm.
Now here we go.
With a mic.
Just give us a little of my song. Now, right here. You know, this man here, exactly right. I'm going to skip that question because we run out of time. But she's going to tell you that I went all the way to Tupelo and brought this man here, this person here, to tell us what Judas did. And they couldn't find nothing. Do we have a reader? Come on, reader. Give it to me. I just want you to know. Did you find one? I'm going to just a little now. To a place they call a judgment hall. God said, told the lion's man I came. Find one fault. He told him, raise the waters. Let me wash my hands. I don't want to be guilty. This is a man. And he told our king. Over my life, say no. All right. I know that's good to you. But just remember, they found no fault in him. So that's good. But next week you ain't be better because he gonna ride. But they still find no fault. So if somebody talk to you, don't worry about it. As long as you know you're doing what's right, you're gonna be just like you will. No fault. That's what you want to live a life with. No fault in you. I thought I'd bring this in this morning. Because this kind of made me feel good when I read about this. It's talking about our Christ, and I'm on. Thank you.